Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to show you this really interesting paper pumpkin alternative project. I've taken a project and I have created a shadow box frame around the cards from this paper pumpkin set, and it comes with these envelopes and a whole bunch of cards. And I used the background to create a Father's Day card. And it measures 5 by 7. We're going to create this frame. Then we're going to go ahead and use this background and just come up with this really fun. I just really think that's kind of a fun way to use these products as an alternative paper pumpkin project. So this is Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, StampArtConnection.com. Let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need some basic white cardstock, and this is the new, I believe it's called copper clay. And I have basic white cardstock and some copper clay, and I don't know if that's going to be the right size or not, but I have another piece here. You're going to need some other pieces of basic white, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut the frame edges here for our shadow box. And then I'm using the other piece right here that I used for, is this what kind of like that? So I'm going to use this other side of the card, so you can basically use front and back and come up with two projects. I am, for the background here, the matting, this is matted on a piece of copper clay cardstock, and I believe that is 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, because this is going to be 10 by 7, and then I'm going to use an embossing folder, and you can see I just kind of embossed a really nice texture. Now there's a trick to this, because our embossing folders for the size of this cardstock doesn't quite cover it. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. But I'm using the basic 3D embossing folders. They're in the annual catalog, and there's several patterns, and I'm just using this very nice kind of textured pattern here. So you're going to need that. And then I've pulled in a die set called Celebrating You, and I have Happy Father's Day. Now what I've done is I've already stamped some of the templates, the little placards that kind of came with the set with Happy Father's Day, and that's what I used here. It also comes with some twine, some baker's twine that I used to kind of wrap it up right there. Okay, so those are the different products that you're going to need. So let's start out with cutting our base card. So our base card is going to be 5 by 10. This is 10 by 7. And we're going to score at 5. And then my layer is going to be 6 3/4, and that is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So we're just going to cut that. And that is our layer. Now, for our shadow box frame, we're going to need 2 pieces at 5 1/2. So let's cut 5 1/2 right there. And we're going to need that 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to need 2 pieces 3 1/2. That's 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. So let's see, yep, that's 3 1/2. Yeah, so that's 3 1/2 right there by 2 1/2. We're going to need 1, and let me get another piece. It's 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okay, so these are all our pieces and parts. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way. Now this piece here, we're going to cut this. It's going to be 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. So we're going to kind of decide where we want to cut this. So we're just going to put this aside for now. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Our 2 1/2 by 5 1/2 piece is going to be scored at the 1 1/2 side every 1/2 inch. So we're going to score that at 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, and 2. Okay, then this one at the we're going to do the same 1 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2. Then we're going to flip it over here on this side, and we're going to score at the half, just up to that first one, and then 3 up just up to that first score line. Flip it around. We're going to do it again. I'm just kind of move in here so you can see. I'm just scoring it up to that first score line. So if I put it in here, it's going to go right up to there, then at the 3 right up to there. So then I've got this little notch right there, okay? And I'm going to do that for my second one as well. There's some cutting that we're going to do. So we're going to grab our shears, and we're going to cut on the outside of this score line up to that score line there. And then we're going to go horizontal across to that second score line right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cut, and I'm cutting on the outside edge of my score line. Then I'm just going to grab here, and I'm going to go straight across there. Okay, so I have all of these cut. Now we're going to grab our mini cutter here, and what we're going to do is we're going to just trim off of one of these edges just a smidge, and it's probably no more than 1/8 of an inch. We're just going to cut 1/8 of an inch on one side only. So now let's grab our bone folder and let's start folding. So now that you have all the pieces folded, you're basically going to take that one edge that you had cut 1/8 of an inch off, and you're going to add your glue, and then you're just going to simply fold it over, kind of use your bone folder to make sure that your edges all match, and you're going to basically you're just going to create these tubes. And here I'm just using my Fast Fusion ink because I know it's gonna dry fast. And I'm using my silicone mat, and again just kind of pressing. I'm going to hold it for just a few minutes, or about a minute or so, and it will adhere nicely to create the tubes. Okay, so now that we have created our tubes, what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of our glue. These fit in like this. You just basically just kind of slip that in, and that is what's going to make your frame, and it's going to go all the way around. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab some glue, and you're going to put some glue right along the inside where these corners are going to abut, and then you want to make sure that you're on some graph paper so that you can hold it so that it dries at a 90-degree angle. And I'm kind of using like see these dark lines here. I'm going to line this up along that line, and then line this up against this line, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that I kind of get this to dry at a 90-degree angle. Okay, and we're going to do this for all corners. Okay, so now that's done. So we can bring in this piece, and we can just kind of align it how we want it to. And actually, it aligns right along this seam right here. So we can use that and cut that as our seam. So then going back to this has to be cut at. Just going to cut right down this seam. And that's going to be 3.5. So we're just going to go ahead and do that, 3.5. And it's already cut at 5.5. So that is going to go right on there. And it's a little bit over, maybe. I think I may want to just cut this just a smidge. So I think what that is kind of that score line that was on the other side. So now that I have this, and I'm just looking at where my seams are, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay that on top of this. Bring in my silicone mat, because I'm going to lay down some glue, and we're going to glue our frame. And there you go. That's the back of our thing. Now this is going to go right here, but we need to emboss this large piece of cardstock. So let me bring in my emboss machine. I have this cardstock, and it doesn't quite fit this, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to place this and cover it up all the way up to, all the way up to a point. All right? And then I'm going to run this through my, and it's going to kind of shoot out the other end. So you got to kind of, okay, now I have that side embossed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to turn this around, and I'm going to I'm just going to go a little bit over, just a little bit. I'm just going to lay it so that there isn't exactly, you're not really going to match the seam. You're just going to go just a little bit over like that, and we're going to run it through again. And you can see it's going to give you a nice of enough. Now I didn't quite go all the way up to the edge on that. If I had, but I mean it's close enough. I mean it's good enough. It's good enough for not having a embossing folder that goes all the way across. But we can live with that for this project. So now we're just simply going to assemble our card. This is the easy part. So I'm going to grab this cardstock, and I'm just going to grab, and then what did I used this like this. This is the smooth, and that's kind of the rough side. So I used the smooth side. Where's my, now I will tell you that because this is so large, it did ripple a little bit for me, okay? And I'll show you the ripple. So I'm gonna I'm going to solve that by using some tear tape. And let me show you what I mean by it rippled. Because it seemed like, I mean, I used a lot of glue, but then you can see kind of how it rippled right there. Alright, that's where I'm going to add the tear tape. And to the sides. And the tear tape is going to help to keep it from rippling. And then I'm just going to add a very thin layer. I don't want a thick layer of glue. If you add too thick, I think that kind of adds to the rippling. And remember, when this dries glue, when the multi-purpose glue dries, it dries tacky. So that is a good thing. Now I'm putting this seam kind of towards the bottom, and then I'm just going to kind of line this up, and then I'm going to press it down. And then I have a perfect, look, it adheres perfectly, and it doesn't buckle the way that other one did. Okay, so now I am ready to put my card down, my frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, and this came out of the paper pumpkin kit, so I'm just going to grab this. And I have Happy Father's Day right there. I have a little bit of this twine, but it also comes with these. It comes with some cool little things. So I could put that there. And look at this. These are stamps. Let me show you what I did. These are the stamps that came with the paper pumpkin kit. There's a compass, a boot, and like one of those tin cups. So what I did is I used the colors that are from the DSP, which is of course copper clay, boho blue. I didn't use wild wheat, but pebble path, but I stamped this in boho blue, and then I embossed it with clear embossing powder just to kind of make it look like a cup. See that? And then I can kind of bend that, and now it looks like a camping cup, right? And then this is a compass that comes with the set. This is a boot that I stamped using the pebble path, and then I colored it with my Stampin' blends. And then I also stamped this with copper. I think I used copper clay there, and then this one was in pebble path, but I did the same thing. I embossed it with this one. Yeah, you can see I embossed it with a clear embossing powder, and it almost looks like it's got like a glass cover on it. So we can add, when we put this here, I mean, we can add some kind of like some just some fun things right here. Happy Father's Day, and kind of embellish our card. And these are just some fun things that you can do. So let's go ahead and let's adhere this to our card, and we're going to do the same thing. Now this one wasn't so bad. This one adhered very well, and it's primarily because what I used was my wonderful liquid fusion glue. We'll just center that. There we go. We just centered that C. And we're just going to hold it down so that it takes. Then I'm going to take this, And we're just going to I'm going to put this kind of at this edge to here, like that. So there's your Happy Father's Day card. Now, as you know, on the inside, you can put a sentiment. So using any sentiment you have in your craft room, you can come up with a very lovely Father's Day card using the paper pumpkin, an alternate set to the paper pumpkins kit that is fast and easy, and it makes a great Father's Day card. So I hope you really enjoyed this project, this alternate paper pumpkin project, creating a shadow box frame for the wonderful cards that came with the May 2023 Exploring in Color paper pumpkin set. It's featuring all the new in colors. If you haven't already, please hit like. All products are available on my online store. If you're not a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, I think it's a really fun kit. You can play around with it. You can stash it and save it for a rainy day, and then pull it out and have a lot of fun with friends or family. Go to my blog for some of the project details on how to put together the shadow box frame. I want to thank Sam Calcutt of UK Crafts for coming up with the idea. This was the original idea. Hey, if you're looking for a demo, please consider joining my team. You can join as a hobbyist for $99. Enjoy that 20% discount on any subsequent orders, and there's no pressure to do any selling. Just enjoy the great products that Stampin' Up! Provides. If you are a demo and you like my content, please support me by liking my channel, hitting like, share, and leave a comment. This is Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, stampartconnection.com. Happy stamping.